Hello all you Pixel people, I am Pixel and welcome to my impressions of Battlefield 4 China Rising DLC. It's going to be a little bit different to what you're expecting because I'm only going to be focusing on the Team Deathmatch variants and the Domination. The reason for this is I personally am a massive fan of Domination in Battlefield 4. I totally understand that this is not exactly what Battlefield 4 is known for, but personally, I'm getting quite a lot of enjoyment out of it, so I thought that I'd focus on what I know best, and that is infantry versus infantry combat. I'm going to start off by talking about Silk Road, which is a very open desert map. And on the Domination variant, you are basically on this big long rectile. It's got 3 points, which are quite well spaced out. And this map, more than any other map in the DLC, or Battlefield in general, feels like a Call of Duty map, and I don't mean that as a negative. I mean that as if you've ever played Call of Duty 4 Kill House, and you've basically got lots of cover, but it's all kind of placed in a way where it's very gamified. It's not like a realistic environment. It is almost purely designed for its gameplay. And in Silk Road, what you'll notice is round the very edge of the map, there's this constant, basically a trench where people can just poke over and just have their head showing and shoot over into the center of the map. And that is kind of one of the things that I'm not 100% certain about, because it does kind of promote camping. At the same time, there's the rest of the map really promoting this really, well, fast and visceral close quarters action. When it comes to the balance of Domination, I have to say that it's actually not too bad. The people that start off at the C point do have a slight advantage due to the massive aircraft hangars which they can then camp on top of and rain down onto the other flags. But in general, it's quite easy to flip the spawns, and the fact that you can go around this trench means that you can normally get around the back of these people quite easily. I'm actually really enjoying this map. It's how do you say it? It's not the best looking map in the game, and that is simply because it's quite barren. It's basic, and it was designed like that on purpose. It definitely makes it easy to be able to spot your targets and actually run around like a crazy madhead. And yeah, I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna say I enjoy it. In Team Deathmatch, it's a lot of fun as well. You just have to make sure that you're watching them corners and those trenches at the side. But overall, I think that you'll enjoy the map. And the second map that I want to talk about is Guilin Peaks. Guilin Peaks is very, very much like a Battlefield Bad Company 2 DLC Vietnam map. You remember that big DLC? Basically, this is lush green jungle, and it looks absolutely amazing on the Domination mode. I have to admit, it is more looks over playability, because if you're playing this on maximum settings, you're really going to struggle to be able to pinpoint your targets, because on max settings, the darks are really dark and there's so much foliage and grass around that it can actually be quite hard to locate who you're shooting at or who's shooting at you. I have to admit though, this is so much fun, basically because this is... I'm going to go out there again on a limb and make an assumption based on only a couple of hours of game time, but this is probably the most balanced Domination map in Battlefield 4 to date. And the reason why I say that is the spawn system is really quite fair. It gives each team a spot with a internal cave spot at the end which they fight over, and it is quite balanced and it's quite easy to flip the spawns. But I have to admit, even though I'm saying it's balanced, this has got to be one of the hardest maps to break out of a losing position. If you only hold one of these flags, it turns into Operation Metro on heat, because you are basically fighting against people which can really camp up behind all this foliage, behind these rocks, around the corners in caves, spam some grenades, and it becomes hell. And a hell of a lot of fun. I like it. I know some people won't do, but yeah, I'm enjoying this map, guys, and I think that if you've got the DLC, you should definitely try this out on Domination. I think you'll really enjoy it yourselves. The next map is, I believe it's Altai Range. I'm not 100% certain on how you pronounce this, but this is basically a massive radio tower on a hill with two other points lower down, one in the car park, well, both in different car parks, should I say. The map itself is designed really well. I actually really enjoy playing this map. However, it's not a fair map by any means. because one of the teams starts off near the B flag and the other starts off at the C at the bottom of the hill. And once this team gets the B flag, they have basically got this fortified position to shoot down on. Sure, they're less likely to have 2 points at the start, but it's quite easy to hold B for the whole game and then just keep throwing your players straight down the hill to A or C. And eventually you'll win the game doing this, because fighting up the hill is hard enough when you consider that they've got this really strong fortified position. But not only that, a really strange decision to put the sun above the hill means that when you're actually fighting up the hill, you're basically blind most of the time, and this makes it hella frustrating if you start on the lower sections of the map. This map had the potential to be one of the best maps, but I do think that they've messed up the early starting spawns and maybe the spawn positions throughout the actual map. I kind of think that they should have maybe started lengthways, and I don't know, rather than having one at the top of the hill and one at the bottom. It's a good map, it looks really pretty, it's just, you'll probably have more fun with it on Team Deathmatch than you will do on Domination for the reasons that I've already mentioned. The last one that I want to talk about is called Dragon's Pass. And Dragon's Pass is an interesting one because this map is very much like Guilin Peaks and Silk Roads combined. I mean, not talking about look-wise, it's not got the lush greenness of Guilin Peaks. Yeah, it's not that green, and it's not as rectangle as the Silk Roads. However, it's just the gameplay style that I got. It's basically a big rectangle once again, and you can shoot over the sides. It's quite dark, and it's very infantry. Well, obviously it's Domination, but it's very visceral and running around in your face, blasting off people's heads at close range, just spraying and praying, and it's an intense map. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. It's a very intense map, and it doesn't really have any real camping spots, unlike Silk Roads and the other maps in the DLC. It is definitely more of a run and gun kind of map, and for that reason, I have to say, if I was playing just for score per minute and I just wanted to go out there and actually shoot lots of dudes and have a really fast action game, then I would have to say that Dragon Pass will probably come top of that list on what I'd want to be playing. When it comes to Team Deathmatch on all these maps, I think that they all work really well. I definitely think that Silk Roads is one of the better Team Deathmatch maps, and Dragon Pass yet again, because obviously the spawns flip a lot more often, it's a lot more open, there's no choke pointing due to the fact that there's no flags. But I'm loving it, guys. I am really loving this. I will give it a try on Conquest and Rush in the near future. It's just, I'm enjoying the Domination and Team Deathmatch so much, it's really hard to pull myself away from that. Anyway, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. These are just my initial impressions on Domination and Team Deathmatch on the new China Rising DLC. If you've got any feedback yourself, or you disagree with anything that I've said, or even better, if you agree with what I've said, please do let me know in the comment section below. And if you're new around here, don't forget to slap that subscribe button for some more PC gaming goodness. And as always, like the video if you like the video. I am Pixel. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.